It's recording. I brought props. If there is something I've learned through my life, I've kind of become the poster boy for self-control, because I used to be the poster boy for no control. And a lot of you, when you first met me, may remember some of these clothes that I used to wear. As you know, this is not Batman's cape, although he could use it now as a cape. This is a shirt a friend of mine in Texas sent to me that used to never button, so I would just wear it open like this. Wow. And now it is a blanket. But the thing that actually shocked me today, because I hadn't taken them out in a long time, was these pants. And I unfolded them, I was like, holy. Wow. This was a size, get it all in, wide angle, Jim. This is size 6X. And before I started my journey on self-control back in 2003, I was wearing 10X. So I don't even know what weight I was at one point, because I didn't have a scale that could weigh me. But friends think that at one point I may have been close to 800 pounds. It's not inconceivable. Given my height, I right now I weigh 300, 299. I just got back under 80. I went on a little bout of loss of control right around Easter, and I put on 35, but I've taken most of it off and gotten back down to the 300. I actually told a friend of mine, he goes, what do you weigh? I say, about 300, 295. He goes, you're 300, 295. Looks like anyone else is 225. I said, well, the Lord blessed me with gigantic bones. I have this Hulk-like structure. So the funny thing is that's actually not the reason I chose the topic for tonight, self-control. Tonight is actually the 1-year anniversary since I stopped drinking. And when I realized that, thank you. When I realized that that fell on today, I was like, something just said, hey, talk. Self-control. I said, okay, yeah, we always hear the fruits of the Holy Spirit, the 9 fruits of the Holy Spirit. I have them written down here somewhere. But one of them is temperance, or self-control. Must be on another piece of paper. That's okay.
Did I speak of it?
No. It's okay. You know how I love the dictionary, the Webster Dictionary. Temperance is, the definition of temperance is moderation in action, thought, or feeling, restraint. Habitual moderation in the indulgence of the appetites or passion. Moderation in or abstinence from the use of alcoholic beverage. And under self-control, it simply states restraint exercised over one's own impulses, emotions, or desires. And there are a lot of things we have to exercise self-control. I mean, if anyone's ever tried to lose a pound, you know what it's like to have to get that self-control. If you've ever tried to give up smoking, which is another thing I gave up. I was telling someone the other day, I was walking. You know, I work here cleaning up after the masses. And I'm walking with my gloves on to check the chapel because I want to check to make sure the chairs are all set. And a woman stops me right in front of the sacristy. She goes, stop. You have to tell me. What is your secret? I get this all the time. People want to know, how have I lost all the weight? They've seen me here for years. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer of my own accord. And I give everyone the same answer. It wasn't me. So I just stopped. I said, she went, really? I said, what else could it be? I remember myself. You know, we put aside, we forget the past because we don't want to live in it. But you have to remember not to go back to it. And I can remember I was just sitting there thinking, and I was thinking to myself, there was something that every single night I used to do after my mother passed away. My mother passed away in 1990. And that kind of left me distraught. And I wish I could say we were a religious family, but we weren't. We never went to church. I inquired of my mother once, why don't all my friends go to church? And my mother's answer was, if you want to go to church, kid, that's fine. I did my time. I said, what? She used to go to morning mass when she, before she met my father, when she worked. It wasn't until I came down here to this church that I realized, and I've said this before, you haven't done your time until that coffin's going down the aisle with you in it. You're going to come to mass, and that is another exercise of self-control. Have there been times you wanted to be here? No. I mean, there are times I've told Father, I just went to the whole mass angry. I wanted to choke somebody. Well, you got to control your anger. Self-control. Who has trouble with finances? Control your wallet, and you're spending this entire country's in debt. Well, I'll get this one credit card to pay off the other credit card, but I still got the student loan, and I'm going to get this. But if I work extra, I can plan in advance to control the future, which is not ours to control. A year and a half after my mother passed away, my father passed away. I commonly tell people, I said, well, my mother died, and then my father died, and I died shortly after that, as I tried. One of my favorite performers is Ozzy Osbourne, and he has a song controversial back in the 80s. It's called Suicide Solution. And the opening line is, wine is fine, but whiskey's quicker. Suicide is slow with liquor. Take a bottle, drown your sorrows, fly away tomorrow. And that's what I try to do. Every night, every single night, I would go out and purchase a case of beer. It couldn't be a regular case of beer, because at the time I went through a 30-pack one night, and I was like, is this non-alcoholic? Because of my size, and I think the Lord gave me a liver that big and kidneys as big as my fists, so I had to find a beer that had double or triple the alcohol content. I had to control how I drank it. I would keep my watch. Every 10 minutes, boom, like a shot in a shot glass. 10, 15 minutes, boom. By the middle of the third six-pack, I was drunk. By that time, I was on the phone. My friends used to love listening to this because they couldn't believe it was like a tongue twister. I'd call the pizzeria. I'd like a Sicilian pie, meatball sausage, extra cheese, pepperoni. Give me meatball parmesan hero, sausage calzone, 2 stromboli, a chicken rolls. And this was every night. About $80 spent on food. Wouldn't eat it while I was drinking because it would absorb the alcohol. I had control over that. I would wait till I was done drinking, then I would eat, which is gluttony, which is a lack of self-control. Whatever was left over was breakfast in the next morning, and the next night, go out and buy another case of beer, order pizza again. When I would go to the beer distributor, they actually named me, I don't want to say the brand of the beer, but when you go to someplace and they name you after the brand you're buying too much of it. And that was my nickname for a while. Until one day, in late 2003, I had a weird experience that led me to say the rosary. And after I said the rosary, once, I had to look it up on the internet how to say it. I literally sat back in my chair and did this. And out loud, I was mystified. I looked around and I said, something's not right here. It was like a veil was lifted from my eyes. And at that time, because of all the drinking, because of all the overeating, I had a nervous breakdown. Because you can only lose control of yourself for so long before, and I believe some of these things are mental and physical things the Lord may have put in there to bring us under control before things collapse. And things collapsed bad. I was someone who used to walk 16 miles a day, and I found myself afraid to go to the curb to take the garbage out. And it took me years to crawl out of that. I didn't have medical help or anything. But I found the right doctor. And my doctor's name is Jesus. And you don't need insurance with him. He accepts everything, so you don't have to worry about that. It's all for free. And he's the best doctor there is, too.